Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Finding the Details. I am Laura Schuler, excited to be with you all. Thank you so much for taking time out of your afternoon to be with me here and to talk some hockey. Today, we're going to talk about line changes and how line changes can be a huge game influencer, especially when things like talent, grit between teams are really evenly matched. Like a good line change, or for that matter, a bad line change, can end up really potentially determining the outcome of a game. So it's so critical to have a really good line change strategy that's easy to understand and easy to execute. And I just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions, please remember to put them in the Q&A box, and I will do my best to try to answer those questions at the end of the presentation. So when I looked at our line changes from the Olympics, from the most recent Olympics here, we averaged anywhere from 70 to 90 changes per game. That's a ton. And 40% of those changes were a result of the playing being blown dead by the referee, so whistles. But 60% were actually the result of live action play. And this is where I want to take you today. This is what I want to talk to you today about, because I feel like if you have a really good game plan here, this is where you can create the advantage for your team. So when we think about those live actions changes, to me, there's two types of changes that happen. There's changes that happen when you have the puck and changes that happen when you don't have the puck. And we're going to talk about all the different types of changes that are associated with both types. In particular, for non-possessive changes, we're going to talk about wholesale line changes. That's, of course, when all of your players come to the bench at the same time. I know as a coach, I typically don't love that, but sometimes it happens, and you have to have a strategy to be able to counteract that. And then ideally, one person from the line before is going to stay on and angle and steer the play in towards your bench where your new players are coming on. That's ideal situation. We'll take a look at that. But we'll also take a look at, sometimes your person that stays on from the line before isn't able to angle and steer towards your bench, and they end up on the far side of the ice. So what do you do in those situations? And then also, when we talk about possession changes, we're going to talk about changes that happen in the offensive zone where we try to change one at a time through F3, as well as changes that happen when you have possession of the puck and you recognize that your teammates have gone for a change. So instead of advancing the puck and just dumping the puck in and then having to go on the forecheck, you want to be able to take ice back. So you want to hinge the puck back and allow for your teammates to get onto the ice. So now you have fresh legs going out potentially against a tired team. So we're going to talk about all those different types of changes today. And our number one rule that we had for our team, or number one detail, is we said we never want to vacate the far side of the ice. So our entire structure, anything that we did, was completely governed by this principle: never vacate the far side of the ice. So I'm going to talk to you today first about these wholesale line changes. Again, when everybody comes to the bench all at the same time. Well, if our number one rule was to never vacate the far side of the ice, then our first forward out, so our F1 here, then's responsibility was to go straight across to the far side of the ice. Our second person's responsibility was going to be to angle and steer the play out of the middle of the ice and in towards our F1 over here. And our third person that stepped on the ice, was going to come in through the middle into good triangular positioning between their F1 and our F2. And that's that yellow triangle here. And in case anybody missed my last episode I did of Finding the Details, I talked about the forecheck and triangular reads that are so important when forechecking. And so if you missed that, I definitely encourage you to go back and check that out, because a lot of that presentation also plays in to line changes in this presentation. But let's take a look at what that looks like here in video. I have 2 video clips here of wholesale line changes. So in this clip here, we're in red. We're playing against the US. The US is in white. And the one thing that I want to show right here in this clip, as I play it out a little bit here, is these 3 people, 1, 2, and a third person over here, are all on the same line. Okay, they're all on the same line here. We're going to play this out here, and there you have them. And what's going to happen, and the US ends up dumping the puck down the ice here, and you're going to see number 19 from this line is going to go for a change, as well as number 6 is going to head to the bench for a change. So the puck goes down the ice. You can already see number 19 heading. And now our number 11 here from this line is going to continue to pursue the puck just over the red line. And then she's going to make a decision to also go for a change. So watch this happen just over the red line. You can see number 11 going for a line change. So everybody's gone to the bench right now. So the US is going to get possession of this puck, and they're going to start to come out on the attack. They're going to transition the puck. And so what should we see? According to our number 1 rule, right? Our first person on the ice should be going straight across to the far side. Our second person, which is actually this person, okay, is going to be angling and steering the puck away from the middle and into our first forechecker. And our third person that's going to come onto the ice should be locking that middle, getting into good triangular positioning between F1, F2, and themselves. All right, so let's have a look at what that looks like. We're just going to rewind this for a second. As the US advance the puck, there we are. We have our 3 people right here in good triangular positioning. We force the US to make a bad pass through the neutral zone, and then that ends up being icing, and we're back in the US zone, back on offense. So one more clip here. This time we're in red in this clip here, and I'm going to stop it so I can point something out here. So here we are. 1, 2, and 3 are all on a line together. Okay, and what's going to happen is Melanie Daou, number 15 here, is going to carry the puck up the ice. She's going to cross over center ice and dump that puck in. And then we're going to see all 3 people here, 1, 2, and 3 are going to come for a line change. So there they go. You know, the film gets a little blurry there, but so what should we see in this clip? Since everybody went for a line change, our first forward should be coming straight across the ice. Again, our second should try to angle the puck in towards our first, and our third should lock that middle, getting into that good triangular positioning. So here it is, and I'm going to stop it right here, and we'll have a look. This is our first forward right here who came straight across the ice, number 40. This is our second forward who ends up angling and steering, and our third forward who ends up getting into good triangular positioning between F1, F2, and themselves. And I'll play this out. We end up turning the puck back over, and we advance this puck, and we're back on offense. And now we're on offense against a tired Russian team, and although we don't get a first great opportunity, we get a second amazing opportunity that we just aren't able to capitalize. So those were wholesale line changes. And now we're going to talk about, well, ideally, if you are able to keep one person on the ice from the line before who's going to influence this play, either get in there on the forecheck or angle and steer the play, hopefully, towards your bench. So what does this look like when this happens? If F3 from the line before you is able to successfully deflect the play up towards your bench, okay, then the first person on the ice is going to come across the ice, okay, and read the play. Now they're going to stay in the middle. Our second person is just going to step over the red line right here, okay? Now we're in good triangular positioning now between our F1 and our F3 from the other line. We're forming this yellow triangle right here. But if a team ends up reversing the puck on us, so they've reversed it and now they're going to come back out the other way, then what happens is our F3 is going to continue to come to the bench. Our F1 that went across the ice is going to continue all the way across the ice. Our F2 that just stepped over the blue line is now going to angle and steer in towards our F1. And our F3 that steps on the ice last is going to get into that good triangular positioning between F1, F2, and themselves, which is this gray triangle right here. So let's take a look at what this looks like with one person being able to stay on the ice. So we're in black here, and the puck's going to get dumped into the finish zone. And right here, okay, our number 21, she is going to go for a line change right there. So number 20 from this line is going to stay on the ice, and she's going to try to angle this puck back towards our bench. She does a great job here with her stick, all right, and she's going to try to angle this play up here. Now, although we don't do it and Finland ends up passing D to D, 20 has gone for a change now. Okay, so what should we see? 20's gone for a change. Our first person straight across the ice. Our second person, angle steer. And our third person, again, is going to be locking that middle. And so we'll play it out here. And there it is. This was our first person right here. It came straight across. This was our second person right here who is angling and steering. All right. And then you'll see our third person right here locking the middle. And we end up turning this puck over here. Our defense is going to make a nice play here right up through the middle. There we go. Okay, and we're able to get a good zone entry and a good shot on net from that. So one more clip at angling towards our bench. Again, we're in black here, playing against Finland. We're in our own zone, and we're going to break this puck out, okay? And right here, you're going to see this kid right here on this line. So we have 26 and 20 and 7 are all on a line together. Seven's back here. We can't see her, but 7 and 26 are going to go for a line change, and 26 is going to stay on, and she's going to try to angle this puck towards our bench. She does an excellent job right there of angling. So the first person, there she is right here at the bottom of our screen, and I hope you can see her. She came all the way across the ice. She's locking the middle, and our second person should be able to step on right here after the last person from the other line came off. She's going to step up over the red line here. Good triangular positioning. There she is. Now 26 can come for that change, and we're on the attack. Our D ends up picking the puck up on the ice for us. Although we don't get a good chance here, we end up getting a really good opportunity because we have fresh legs on the ice. We have 3 new players from a new line, and we're able to get a good shot on net against a tired Finnish team, a good look, even though we don't capitalize on that. So now I want to talk to you quickly about, we just talked about when F3 was able to angle and steer towards our bench, but sometimes that's not always going to happen, right? F3 is going to sometimes attempt to, gain puck possession, and they're going to find themselves on this far side of the ice, So when F3 ends up angling and steering towards the far side of the ice, what's got to happen? Well, again, our first forechecker right here who steps onto the ice from the other line goes straight across the ice. Our second player comes right to the middle and gets in good triangular positioning between F1, F3 from the other line, and themselves, forming this yellow triangle right here, okay? So if F3 is successful, we're able to turn that puck over and attack. If a team ends up going back on us, like has been drawn out in this picture right here, okay, so if a team ends up going back on us and they reverse the puck and come out this side, then what we want to see is now our F3 can come to that bench. F1 is going to take over and start to angle and steer. Our F2 that came to the middle of the ice will hold the middle, and our F3 that steps on last gets in good triangular positioning between F2, F1, and themselves and form this gray triangle. So let's have a look at when we end up angling away from our bench and what that looks like. So again, we're in black here, and we're going to end up getting this puck down the ice. We're going to chip this puck in here, and you can see already, okay, this player right here, our captain, number 29, is going to go for a line change, and her other line mate, number 15, has gone for a line change. Number 2 is going to stay on and challenge this puck. Okay, so she stays on. She's first to the puck. She's one of our fastest players on our team. So what should we see here? She's on the far side of the ice over here. Okay, so again, first person straight across the ice. We should see somebody here. And then we should also see somebody come lock the middle of the ice. Let's see what happens here. So there's our first person straight across the ice. She's able to turn the puck over. Nice little pass from Megan Augusta. Here's our second person. Locks the middle. We end up getting a pretty good opportunity at net. Our D ends up keeping this puck in. And now Megan Augusta is going to go for that line change. Okay, so we have two people out with fresh legs. Our D does a great job in keeping this puck in. Finland's tired, right? We double down on this puck. We out hustle them, outwork them, and we get another opportunity at net. And now you can see how we have 1, 2, 3. These people all here are on the same line against a tired Finnish team, and we get a good chance at the net. Okay, one more clip of that example, same example. This time we're in red, playing against the US in white. All right, we end up turning the puck over here, and we advance the puck. And right here, you're going to see number 29 go for a line change. Okay, and number 15 is just going to step over the blue line, and then she's going to head for a line change. And number 2 is going to try to keep control of this puck. So there goes 15. She's off for a line change. 2 stays on the puck. Okay, so although we had possession, we just lost possession. We're on the far side of the ice now. So what has to happen? She has to continue to push this puck. Okay, our first person again, straight across the ice, and our second person's going to lock that middle. All right, what happens here? They reverse it. Once they reverse it, okay, this player has the green light to go change. Our first player that came across the ice is now going to play into their reverse. They're going to angle and steer. That's exactly what number 40 does. Our second player locks the middle. And our third should be able to now come from the bench, nicely step over the red line and get into good triangular positioning between our F1, our F2, and themselves. Let's see what happens. There she is right here. That's Megan Augusta finishing the change right there. We're able to create a nice turnover here. Natalie Spooner, number 24, accelerates the puck through the neutral zone, has awesome speed here, drives the net. Nice play out front, and it's in the back of the net for us. So we're able to get a nice goal off of that one. So now we're going to talk about, we just talked about line changes that happen when you don't have control of the puck. Now I'm going to show you some line changes when you have control of the puck. Okay, so, and in particular, we're going to start in the offensive zone where we try to change one at a time through F3. So this time we're in black, okay, and I'm going to play this out for a second and then let everybody see the line that's out. We have number 40, number 24, and number 9. These 3 players are all on the same line together, okay? And we're going to battle it out here. Our D does a good job of keeping this puck in. And we get control of the puck. And right here, our first change is going to happen. Number 40 is going to head to the bench for a line change, okay? So we get a shot on net. It goes into the corner. Number 9 and number 24 are going to stay on this puck. They're going to battle it out and try to regain puck possession for us. So our D comes down the wall here. You can see our D pinching on the wall. So our first forward that came on the ice here for number 40 that changed should be now covering right for our D on the pinch. And then right here, I want to highlight number 9 is like, okay, my turn now to go for a line change. So this is number 2 while we still have the puck in the offensive zone. 9 goes for a line change. 24 stays on to try to help keep control of the puck for us, okay? So we have 2 people who have changed. Our D is in the play, so we should have somebody on the far wall here, and we should have somebody locking the middle, getting into good triangular positioning between these 2 players and themselves. Although we lose the puck, here's our 2 fresh players, 19 and 6 from the other line, okay? We end up turning the puck over, accelerate through the neutral zone with speed. Now number 24 right here is going to go for that line change, okay? And look at this. We got 2-on-0 coming in against a tired Finnish team, and we just missed the back of the net here. Nice pass. And Nora Ratu, one of the best goalies in the world, makes a nice save on us. So one more clip of this. So we're here. We're going to dump the puck in to the finish zone here. There goes the puck. Number 7's on it. And we're going to get a pretty good opportunity here at net. And I'm going to stop this right here. I just want to point out who's on this line together. So we have number 26, number 20, and number 7. These 3 players are all on the same line together, okay? So we're going to get a pretty good wraparound chance here by Sarah Nurse. And then Sarah Nurse is going to cover for our pinching D. Here's our pinching D. Sarah Nurse is covering for her, but she's going to decide right now to go for a line change, okay? It's changing through X3. Sarah goes. Number 7 gets control of the puck in the corner. She's going to keep it alive. And now 7 is going to go for that line change, right? While number 26 tries to pressure the opponent. So again, we don't have possession, but we did have possession with 2 players on the ice. So 26's job is to now angle and steer this puck. She's got to stay on it. Our first person should be all the way across to the far side. Our second person's got to lock that middle. Let's see what happens. Here's our first person. Here's our second person. I'll rewind it. Thank you very much for the puck. We go back the other way. Unbelievable play here by Melody Dow, and it's in the back of the net for us. What a smart player, and what a phenomenal finish. The last thing I want to talk to you today about is when you recognize that your teammates are going for a change, okay? So instead of just dumping the puck in the offensive zone and allowing the other team to break out, and then you have to forecheck, you know, what you want to do is, if you can recognize that, then you want to take ice back. You want to try to build it in your transition. You want to try to hinge that puck and build time to get the complete change. So now you got fresh legs out, hopefully against a tired team, and you can take advantage of it. So we're going to talk about 2 different types of changes here that happen. One in the neutral zone, I'll show you. One even in our defensive zone where we have puck control. So playing against the US, this time we're in white, okay? And we're in our own D zone here, but we're going to be able to get this puck. And we have a bit of a turnover here, okay? So I'm going to stop it right here. And you can see, right here, we got 2 people going for a line change, okay? And so we advanced the puck to Melody Dow. This kid is such a smart hockey player, all right? And now basically, you know, what could she do here? She could possibly just, you know, kick this out to the side. We have our D actually up in the play here who could then dump the puck in, but then we're only going to be forechecking, all right? So instead, Melanie Dow recognizes she's basically a 2 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So instead of going forward, I'm going to go backwards this way. We're going to control the puck, and then I'm going to go for a change. So watch what she does. She plays the puck back. Now she's going for a change. We get control of the puck. Our first person, boom, straight across to the far side. Our second person, fill the middle. Our third person is going to fill the far lane. Nice job here by number 6 with the puck. Rebecca Johnson cuts through the middle, and a great shot at net for us, and a really nice look and opportunity. Okay, one more clip of this. This is us making a change in our D zone. Again, playing against the US, this time we are in red. Okay, so we're in red here, and we're going to end up getting control of this puck. Number 3, our defenseman, is then going to end up getting control. Okay, and she's going to start a turn back. So as she turns back, and we have right now number 20, number 7, and number 26. They're all on a line together, okay? Number 26 is going to go for the first change right here on this turn back, all right? So let's watch this. Turn back, 26 goes for that line change. The other 2 that stayed on knows they can't vacate the weak side of the ice, okay? So there they are right here, right in the picture. We got 2 of them taking care of that far side of the ice. They end up working the breakout. We advance the puck, and this is the first person who's on from the other unit. It's our captain, Mary Philip Poulin. Watch how smart she is. Okay, she knows that these two have got to go for a line change. So if she advances the puck, what's going to happen? Seven's just going to gain the center and dump it. And then Mary Philip Poulin's going to have to forecheck it, right? So instead of doing that, Mary Philip Poulin's recognizing this. She's going to allow them to go change, and she's going to come back, take the puck back into our zone. Watch her come back. The other two are going to go for that change. All right, she's buying time and space. Head up right here. Now she sees her other two teammates are on the ice. What a smart player. Okay, now I'll advance it. There they are right here. Here's number 15, her teammate. Here's number 2, her line mate. All right, we got 2 players on the ice. Now we're going to put it forward. And now we got speed and energy to attack the US. I'm going to show you one last clip here, and that's all I have for you here. And the reason why I want to show you this clip is we're playing against Finland, and we're in our D zone, and this has nothing to really do with us. But I'm going to play this out here. So Finland's got the puck in our defensive zone here, okay? And we try to break out, and the play comes back in our zone. And what I'm going to play this out for just a second. What I want to show you is what can happen. This is a really bad line change. Like they have like 3 or 4 players going for a line change, and we have control of the puck. All right, so bad line change right here. We play the puck up, breakaway, and snipe. And that ends up being a game-winning goal for us in a huge, huge game in the preliminary round, to take care of Finland. So like I said, it's just so important, that you have a strategy around your changes, and that your players understand all the different types of changes that can take place, because as you just saw right here in this clip, it can be the difference between winning and losing. That was the game-winning goal for us. So how do you practice this? I'm just going to share with you quickly 2 drills that I like to do to practice this. This drill is simulating when you don't have possession of the puck. So what happens? We have red versus blue. So in your practice, obviously you have your colors, and in this scenario, what we do is we have dark blue is right here in the neutral zone milling about. We have red here in the neutral zone milling about to start the drill. And then on the whistle, you have a coach just spot a puck into red's defensive zone, and red's got to go back and break this puck out while blue waits, okay, here in the neutral zone. Now, basically, you can provide pressure on the forecheck. You can send in 1, you can send in 2, but you want to create the advantage for red to be able to break out successfully. Well, as soon as red is able to advance that puck and gain the center ice, they then need to dump the puck into the corner, and all of them need to then go for a change. So you can either work wholesale line changes, or in this case, as I've drawn out, one person can stay on and they can try to angle and steer the puck towards your bench. So while everybody else here is changing, our first person that steps on the ice, right, is going to come across the ice and hold the middle, especially if F3 from the line before them is doing a good job. F2 is just going to step over the ice and hold this line, okay? But if a team ends up, obviously, in this situation, as I've drawn out here, they hinge it back and go the other way, then F2 is going to continue to angle and steer in towards F1, and F3 will then step on the ice in good triangular positioning between F1, F2, and themselves, while F3 here has already came to the bench. And so basically what you do is you let them play this out. So after the change happens, you let this play out for like, another 25 seconds. So the puck can go either way. It doesn't matter, right? But then when you blow it down, the line that just came out, so these guys that just came out for that line change would then start the play anew, where we're going to dump the puck in their zone. Now they're going to go break out, gain the red, dump it, go for a line change. And now their teammates are going to obviously get an opportunity to execute the same line change that they just did. And meanwhile, you have new blue line here, light blues going against the other line. And so basically everybody gets to execute this once. So red's executing the line change first, then you reverse roles, obviously, and then blue gets to execute the line change strategy. So one more drill here that I have, and this is to practice line changes within the neutral zone. So possession line changes, and you can set this up a lot of different ways. In this situation, what I like to do, you start at 5-on-5 in the offensive zone. I like to, do scenarios where red's going to automatically win the puck. So as a coach, you just kind of throw it back to red, and they can execute any kind of practice any kind of offensive draws that you might have drawn up. Once a shot's taken at the net, if the rebound's right there, you can let them play it out. But then as the coach, you're going to blow the whistle. That puck is now dead. Okay. And you're going to spot a new puck out into the neutral zone here. And so basically the two forwards, okay, that are closest to the bench are going to, go for a line change. Let me see if I can get this back here. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. All right. They're going to go for a line change. The two forwards closest to the bench are going to go for a line change, while the one forward that's furthest away from the bench is going to stay on and support the puck on the far wall, because we never vacate the far side of the ice. Okay. Meanwhile, the 2D that were in the offensive zone are going to go back. They become these gray D here. They're going to get control of that puck, and we're going to look to move the puck D to D and start to come up the ice. We could actually pass to F2, or we can hinge it back ourselves. And once we hinge it back, that's when F2 is now going to come to that bench over here. So what has to happen is our first person, again, is going all the way across to the far side. Our second person is filling that middle on the attack, and our third person now is going to fill the far lane, so that we get a nice triple drive attack. And so again, you let this play out, right? 5-on-5 for another 25, 30 seconds. And then, the line that just executed that line change. So these guys here will now get an opportunity to take an offensive face-off and then go for a change as well. And then you can reverse this, where now blue is going to get the opportunity to execute the change strategy from their side of the ice. And the thing that I like about this is we'll do these drills. We'll pick usually one of them, but we'll do them on a Thursday before we play, because there's so many situations that can come about in all of these, and it's great to get footage of it if you're filming your games, so that you can give feedback, and you're executing a ton of changes in a short amount of time. Again, it's high intensity. Your kids feel like, it gives them a real opportunity to touch the puck and get ready for a game. We'll also do these on our higher volume days, so more at the beginning of the week, but instead of everybody kind of on a Thursday, we just have everybody kind of do the drill once. On a Tuesday or a Monday, if we were doing this, we would probably have everybody do it 2 or 3 times each to get in the volume that we need to get in for that week. But those are 2 of my favorite line changing drills. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation here. I'm definitely happy to take any questions that you may have. I'll go to the Q&A. I see that there's a couple, so let's just see what we have. In your opinion, how important is the second period change? Oh my God, it's everything. Great question. And it's honestly, it is everything. Second period is one of those times too, where, I would definitely encourage, that's maybe when you want to keep the puck in the offensive zone. So sometimes it, I'd more so encourage us to execute those possession line changes in first and third period. In the second period, if you can hem the other team in their zone by just, firing the puck back in on the opponent, and trying to get your change more through offensive possession in the offensive zone, that's what I like to do. So honestly, I think it's everything. It's that second periods are critical, and second periods can also win and lose you games. Um, Great question. Thank you. Do you by chance do you change by position, or does your center take the first player on the change no matter their position? Yeah, we don't change by it's, if the center comes off, the center goes on. If the wing comes off, the wing for that position goes on. And that's actually another presentation that I'm hoping to talk to you guys about. But just the importance of whoever your first person even back into your D zone, it's not about position, it's about a game of numbers. So it could be a wing that's first back to help out your two defensemen. They become your center in the D zone. So I think the higher up in level of hockey that you end up coaching, those are some things that you probably have to think about, because so much can happen, and it is the game is all about making good decisions in limited amounts of time, and sometimes it's like you can't wait. But to answer your question, again, our centers go for centers, and our wings go for left wing, right wing for right wing. Next question is, what can you say about line changes when playing on the power play or penalty kill? Same thing with the power play. We want to try to execute those line changes anytime that relatively speaking, we'll give each unit about a minute out there. But if they're in that minute range, we try to execute that change through a neutral zone regroup, or obviously if we get set up behind our net, we'll try to execute it there. On a penalty kill, I encourage my team, no matter how long they've been out there, every single time the puck comes back down the ice, I want them to change no matter what, just because the kill, you have to, the kill is all about, out exerting the power play. And in order to do that, you have to have energy. You have to have, fresh legs constantly out on the ice. So I like them to always be changing every single time the puck, you're able to get a puck clear, you're changing. And there is also a strategy around that where we always want to fill the far side of the ice, and then we get into our penalty kill forecheck. That's also another presentation that could be done. Great question. So a couple more questions in the Q&A box. Hi, for changing the Ds, are you asking to change one at a time, and are you asking to get the tired D closer to the bench? Yeah, and that even applies 100%. I want them to change one at a time, and 100%, you always go to the far side of the ice. So let's just say, I'll use my little, demonstrator here. Let's just say we were able to execute this line change, and if I can get my little drawings here. So let's say D2 ends up going for a line change, or the first D closest to the bench, right? And now we have, this D has stepped on for that D. I essentially want them to go all the way across the ice, and this D is going to come into play closer to your bench, so then they can now execute that second part of the change. Great question. And I would say that question even applies for in your defensive zone. Okay, so let's just say we're down here in our defensive zone. Let me see if I can move some stuff away here, where we're battling it out. And I'm going to move all these players down here, and let's just say that we've gotten, here we go, F3. It was the only person that wasn't able to get a change. So all these players, the other players here, are new players. I want this person to switch with this person so they're closer to our bench. So at any time, once the puck goes from one corner to the other corner of the ice, this person can now get off and we can get that person on. So that rule even applies with our wingers. That's a great question, and something that you can practice. You can practice for sure. Last question, I think, here is, how important is communication and players knowing who has who, and what does that look like for your team? Great question. You've got to yell. You got to yell. So when you're coming to the bench, like, everybody's got to be aware, and that's why you can't have people sleeping on your bench. Like, you got to know, and as a coach, you got to have whatever line's going up next. They got to know. Like, you can't be doing it last second. That's not fair to your players. You got to let them know right away, right? Like, whoever's going up, and then that way, if you're the center coming off, you got to be yelling center, center, center loud, right? And everyone's got to be like, I got it. That communication is huge. Communication, to me, I always go, I have this saying, eliminates hesitation. Hesitation in hockey is when you get scored on. You can't hesitate. Time is essence in hockey, and communication is one of the biggest things to get everybody on the same page. Great question. Thank you guys so much for all of your questions. They were awesome. My next presentation is going to be on Wednesday, February 3rd, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to talk about breakout reads. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. You guys, thank you so much for being with us here today. Have a great rest of your day and week, and we will hopefully see you on February 3rd. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.